Hi there, YouTube. This is Wakeangel2K1 appearing to you face to face. Because today I'm not going to be talking about neat toys. No. I'm going to be talking about a controversy in Sega. From Sonic 2006. There are plenty of reasons to call Sonic 2006 a bad game. It was a rushed title with poor controls, a broken physics engine. It was full of game-breaking glitches and bugs. It had been put out without being properly play-tested. The graphics were... Although the graphics were technically pretty good in most places, there were really obvious signs when they cut corners, such as poorly rendered shadows or glassy, lifeless-looking eyes. You know, it was just a mess. However, when I hear about Sonic 2006, and this comes all the way up to today, that it just keeps coming up, the thing that a lot of people had the biggest negative response to, despite everything else wrong with the game, was pretty much this one thing. Now, do you want to know what my personal reaction to that scene was? I really didn't have one. However, the reactions of everyone around me who was watching the game was like, "Oh my god, he just kissed a human girl, what the fuck, perverted kind of ye." What? Alright, now really, I kind of saw what the story writers were going for. In most, it was a fairy tale trope. Usually the hero has to kiss the princess to save the day, a la Snow White or Sleeping Beauty. But this time, it was the princess that had to kiss the hero to save the day. You see, they took a common fairy tale trope and turned it over on its head. They were trying to be clever. I mean, I know a lot of people say that the story's not really all that great, but a lot of times they're comparing it to movie plots, but it's a video game story. Video game stories, or unless it's an RPG, never really much of the focus, especially for Sonic games. So, you know, they tried to do something. They tried to be a little bit clever there. And I think, for what it's worth, that was a little clever. I think that they should get props for that and not revulsion. Of course, we all know why. The argument basically boils down to, if your reaction to these scenes are anything other than shock and revulsion, then you must automatically be one of these people. Yeah. You see what the problem is? Yeah. First of all, your fetishes or orientation are of absolutely zero concern to me. I don't care. And I'm not going to tell any of you about mine. So let's get that right off the bat. However, I want to talk about an equivocation fallacy. Because, hey, you know, this is the internet. There's no such thing as a moderate opinion, right? You're either totally in favor of something to the point where you're fanatically, like, doing it yourself, or you're the exact opposite. You absolutely are completely repulsed by it and can't stand the thought of it even existing. You know, and in either of these people's minds, if someone doesn't share that exact opinion, they must be in the exact opposite opinion. Because, you know, this is the internet. Seriously, you guys really have to grow up. And also learn that there's, you know, a whole bunch of other opinions besides the two. And besides, all things considered, it isn't even really that shocking. Because, as I'm about to show you, if any of you have watched cartoons in the past 70 years, this should have just completely been glazed over as par for the course. Now, what am I talking about? Well, why don't we take a look, huh? It's pretty much established that in any fictional universe where both humans and anthropomorphic animals exist, the possibility for them getting into relationships also exists. This has been shown several times in the new Looney Tunes cartoon on Cartoon Network. I believe there was even an episode where Porky Pig went on a date with a human woman. Oh my, the amazing perversions of the people that made this show, huh? Except that it didn't really start here. Let's go back to the 90s, a much more innocent generation before the existence of the internet. Anybody remember Animaniacs? Of course you do. If you're in your 20s now, then you had to have seen this show. It was one of the most popular things on television ever. Remember Hello Nurse? Remember how pretty much anyone with a Y chromosome would give their left nut to be with her? Yeah, she was often harassed by the Warner Brothers, who never really was quite established what they were. I think maybe Cartoon Dog is the closest I can think of. They actually never established it. They made a point about that. But yeah, happened all the time. Now, I think that this would be a good time to mention the reverse situation. You know, where the cartoon animal is the girl and it's the human male. This is actually surprisingly rare in the cartoon media. I think it has to do with the whole man as the primitive aggressor and the female being the virtuous pure thing, so making the male an animal is kind of, symbolic of that. But the reverse does occasionally happen, and Minerva Mink, also from the Animaniacs cartoon, is pretty much the definition of this character trope. I mean, there was absolutely no bones about it. You were supposed to, be attracted to her. You were supposed to want her. I mean, in one episode, they had her walking around the forest in a towel while everyone in the episode was trying to get a peek. And she's always in various states of undress. I mean, yeah, this is it. When I watched the DVD episodes of the Animaniacs when I was in college, I had a hard time believing this ever made it to air because it's pretty dirty in a lot of respects. And yes, although most of the Minerva Mink shorts involved her and other cartoon animal men, there was at least a couple of episodes where her suitors or potential suitors were humans. So yes, the trope is sustained. Oh, and don't think that it's only Warner Brothers that did this, because if you recall the Disney movie Beauty and the Beast, the entire movie was about a human girl falling in love with a giant lion monster man thing. I mean, yes, he may turn into a prince at the end, but I'm pretty sure Belle didn't know that her love would turn him back into a human. Maybe she did, but seriously, she had to be romantically involved with this beast man before he would ever turn into a human, and I don't really think she cared that he would. Of course, if we get back to the Hello Nurse factor, you know that her character could have only been based off of Jessica Rabbit. And who was Jessica Rabbit married to? Oh yeah, Roger Rabbit. Now, I know some of you down there may be arguing, oh no, but in their universe, they are both cartoons. Bullcrap. Elise is also a cartoon character, in case you haven't noticed. She may be CGI, but that doesn't make her any more real than Jessica is. Actually, I believe that Jessica Rabbit herself is based off of the Tex Avery short Red Hot Riding Hood, which I believe was made in the 60s, although I might be wrong about that. Basically, Red Hot Riding Hood was a parody of Little Red Riding Hood, where the wolf was some guy who goes into this club and she's one of the table dancers there, and he basically goes completely apeshit. In fact, the reactions that the wolf has to seeing Red Hot Riding Hood are pretty much used today. They became pretty much the standard for wild takes. And, you have the wolf pursuing the innocent girl. And this kind of ties into my whole, usually it's the male furry pursuing the human female, symbolic of the whole animalistic primal thing chasing after the pure and the virtuous. And there's only one way I could possibly end this. Going all the way back to the early 1930s with Betty Boop, one of the first sexualized cartoon characters ever. She had a boyfriend named Bimbo, pictured here. Notice something? Bimbo's a cartoon dog. The very first couple that was really meant to be thought of as a sexualized couple in the cartoon serial was a a anthropomorphic dog and a human girl. So this is a trait as old as animation itself, and really the reason why I just cannot fathom why people freak out when they see Elise give one chaste little kiss to Sonic. Oh, you know what? Just for the sake of completion, I think I should mention anime, Japanese cartoons. The situation does come up in anime as well, although I've noticed a lot more often it's the female furry pursuing the male. I'm not sure what quirk of Japanese culture led to this, but there are a lot of cat girls out there. This is Irma from Tenchi Muyo GXB, technically a dog girl, and one of my favorite characters, Aisha Clan from Outlaw Star, which to this day is still my favorite classic anime of all time. Yeah, that's the one, Outlaw Star. Me love it. Yeah, I don't know why the role seems to be reversed in anime, but again, it's something that just comes on TV, people watch it, and there's really no strong reaction to it unless you go to a forum and everyone just starts to react, which I still maintain is overcompensation. And here I am, hours later. Yeah, I didn't record the outro. I recorded the intro, then I edited, then I realized I needed a way to end it. So, my point is that I feel that I've provided some examples out there to show how a lot of people on the internet seem to be overreacting over something that's really quite meaningless. And here I've gone for about 12 minutes or so, forming a thesis argument against it, so I guess you could say that I'm just as obsessed. Although, in my obsession is that I want you guys to stop being hypocrites. Huh. Hypocrites, are you? What I'm saying is that a lot of people act like this was some kind of shocking thing that doesn't come up often when, it comes up very often. I don't know where I'm going with this, but yeah, hopefully you understand where I'm coming from in this argument, and if this was 4chan or something, I'd be prepared to have my head photoshopped onto a lot of dogs humping other dogs or something. But, this is YouTube. I like to think that the community here is a little bit more respectful and open-minded and willing to listen to my, well thought out arguments without using foul language, poor grammar, and racial or homophobic slurs. Don't let me down, Internet. This is Toy Customizer Wakeangel2K1 signing off.